Hey guys, it's RX here and welcome back to my channel. We are back with yet another Epomaker Switches, but this is our last Epomaker Switch that we'll be taking a look and listen, I promise. Today we have the Flamingo linear switches, and this is almost the same as the Bluebird switches, and I think this is a recolor that we last tried, but this time it's using a full polycarbonate housing for the top and bottom. And I'm very much excited for you guys to hear the sound test on these, and let's see how they perform. But first, a quick message from our channel sponsor PCBWay. PCBWay is your one-stop shop for all your PCB prototyping needs, and let me tell you that they have a lot of deals and sale this December. All you have to do is click on the Christmas big sale banner, and you'll see all the deals that they have for this holiday. Like this, up to 50% off for the 3D printing and CNC machining. If you want to learn more about this, head over now to Pcbways.com, links in the description. Now a quick background about the Switch. Continuing their naming of the switches based on birds, this Flamingo Switch was inspired by the colors of the flamingos. The switches are a 5-pin with a 47-gram actuation and 60-gram bottom-out force, and comes in pre-factory lube. By the way, the switches was sent for a review by Epomaker, but I wasn't paid to make the video and they didn't see the final script. So of course, I'll give you guys my honest and unbiased opinion about the Flamingo switches. I'll go ahead and put all of Epomaker's links on the description down below. So in today's video, it's going to be the usual, but there will be no stock versus lube comparison. As mentioned, the switches is already pre-factory lube. But there will be a sound comparison versus other linear switches, and of course, a short material breakdown. If you all want to hear my thoughts and opinion about the Flamingo Switch, please do stick around at the end of the sound test, or feel free to check the timestamps. And speaking of sound test, let's do a quick disclaimer before we start. That the sound and experience will vary depending on your keyboard build, meaning to say that it will sound and it will feel different on your board. We of course be using the Vega 65 with a polycarbonate plate, a PCB to plate foam, and one case foam. The switches came in pre-factory lube, and the keycast that was used was a Domi key set. So with all of that out of the way, please do enjoy the sound test on the Epomaker Flamingo switches. So that was a sound test on the Flamingo switches, and what do you think about them? Please do let me know on what you think about the switches on the comment section down below, and let's have some quick discussions. Before we head on to my thoughts and opinion about the Flamingo switch, you know what's next? Let's break down the materials that was used on the switch. As you can see, these are a 5-pin switch and is using an MX style housing with a dust-proof stem. So we have polycarbonate for the top housing, we have polycarbonates again for the bottom housing, and of course we have POM for the stem. Lastly, the dual stage springs that comes in 22mm in length and has a 60-gram bottom out force. So that was a material breakdown on the Flamingo switches. If you made it up to this point of the video, I would like to say thank you for staying, and again, reminding you that the sound and experience will vary depending on your keyboard build. Let's now talk about my thoughts and opinion about the switch. Finally, let's now talk about my thoughts on the feel. Now, I really have to highlight this again, that the pre-lube on these feels really nice, as if it was really hand-lubed, and I can say that it didn't feel inconsistent and enough lube was applied on the switches. Unlike the Bluebird, I can feel that it has a bit of scratches here, but only if you type in slow, and not really that prominent or noticeable when typing normally. It didn't have the plastic feeling as well when typing. Now the pre-travel is almost the same as the Bluebird, this having a bit more longer of a pre-travel around 2mm. For the actuation, it has the same as the Bluebird, 47-gram and 60-gram bottom out force. The main difference that is it has with the Bluebird are the top and bottom housing, as this uses a polycarbonate compared to a polycarbonate and nylon combination of the Bluebird. Now, in terms of the typing feel, this feels almost the same as the Bluebird switches, and I think basically the Bluebird was the recolor as Flamingos came out first. So like the Bluebird, it has that snappier return due to the dual stage 22mm springs. I just prefer this more due to the longer pre-travel. The bottom out isn't that harsh and just feels more on the right lane in terms of typing for longer hours. Just a little bit of scratches, but overall feels really smooth and solid to type on out of the box. Now moving on to my thoughts on the sound. As expected, the pre-factory lube did well on the switches, as it didn't sound all over the place and didn't have that raw plastic feeling when typing. But you can hear just a little bit of scratches when typing slow. So for the sound profile, it sounds close to their Bluebird switches, but this sounds a bit more subtle with less pop and more of that deep sound profile. But it still has that snappier return again due to the springs, and I can say that this still sounds in between of a clack and deep sounding pitch, which sounds really nice if you want to be in between. But overall, it sounds really decent for a linear switch and sounds more subtle than the Bluebird. Now, I can say that they sound similar enough to some KTT switches out there, like the KTT Strawberries and KTT Roses. So overall, I'm still keeping what I said on the last video, that the $13 is nice, but I wish that they can offer this in packs of 10, because I'm really impressed on how good their pre-factory lube is, and I want you guys to be able to try it, as the switches are really smooth, but with a little bit of scratches for the Flamingo switches. But for what it is, again, it's really impressive. I really hope that they can offer like a switch tester where they can throw in some other switches that you guys can be able to try it out first before really committing to buy for your builds. But yeah, again, the real highlight on these are the pre-factory lube. It's very consistent, and I didn't see myself adding more lube for the smoothness, as it's really smooth out of the box. So Epomaker, I wish you will have a switch tester or like offer this in packs of 10. And that is it for the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the review on the Flamingo Switches by Epomaker, and I really do hope that you find this review helpful. If you do, please don't forget to hit the like button as it helps out my channel grow. So what's next? Well, finally, before the year ends, we'll be able to try out some new Akko switches, so please watch out for that. Again, please don't forget to hit the like button, share if you want, and of course, subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys on the next Soundtest. Peace.